It's just, let's get on Jasper here. Let's see. Hopefully this is not a dog. This picture looks like a dog. So hopefully this person is a real person. We don't need a dog talking to a dog, right? There he is.
Hey.
What's up, brother? Are you in Canada? Wait, I can already sense that accent right there.
Right? Yeah, I'm in Canada. I'm actually live downtown Ottawa. I see Austin almost every day.
Okay.
Walking the streets. So yeah, he's doing a great job, and you can really see how he's really like evolved as an individual from the first day he got here about 11 days ago to, you know, becoming kind of a, you know, citizen journalist on the ground and covering everything that's going on, showing the real truth of what's happening as opposed to what we're seeing on the mainstream media. So it's really truly a great gift that he's offering to all of us, and I highly recommend everyone to follow Shots by Hill for sure.
Yeah, tell me, bro, you on there as well, or are you involved?
Yeah, well, absolutely. So me personally, I was a federal government worker for about 15 years. I have a heart condition as well. So, well, to be honest, I've never really been to like the annual flu shot or anything like that. So this experimental one was even more sketchy for me as well. But considering the fact that there's known side effects to the heart, made me really not want to take it. My doctors also had like, you know, ideas of like, maybe you shouldn't take it, but they also say, we can't give you an exemption or else I'll lose my job. So, you know, I'm really caught between a hard rock or a, you know, hard place and a, whatever, that expression, you know what I'm trying to say. And so I've been on zero income since November. So I've been like trying to support the truckers as best I can because I live like a block away from all the action. I've been making like lunches with my mom. Actually, she's been making lunches, but I attached a little note with my contact information, with my phone number, my address, just letting them know if you need a shower, you need to use the bathroom, you need to do laundry, just, you know, I'm there for you. My home is your home.
Right.
So, you know, I've been having about a dozen truckers come through almost every day just to, you know, freshen up and, you know, feel human again. And because I want them to stay as long as they can. Because if these mandates are lifted, I get my job back and I don't lose my apartment. So, you know,
what kind of job is it?
I work in IT for Transport Canada.
Okay. All right. So let me ask you this: in the news in Canada, is it really censored on the news? Like, do they shoot it where it's like, oh, there's only a few people here, it's not a big issue? Is that how they present it on your Canadian news?
Yeah, the way they portray it is horrendous. It's fully state propaganda. The narratives that they portray in the mainstream news they're like press releases from the Trudeau government that they just repeat. So whatever Trudeau wants them to say, they'll say it. So Trudeau's, you know, it's incredible how insulting he is to these hardworking family, you know, type people. You know, they're sacrificing their livelihoods to be here to really end the mandates. And like Austin said, a lot of them are vaccinated. So this is not about or I shouldn't even say that word. I don't know how IG's their algorithms are gonna pick up on that, but those inoculations, let's say, it's about freedom. It's about freedom of choice. And, you know, the counter protesters, the Antifa types do show up in very small numbers. It's kind of it's really pathetic to see. They're just it's like a clown show almost. And another interesting thing to note is they don't have any Canadian flags, whereas the truckers and the people that come to support the truckers, there's Canadian flags, there's American flags, Australian flags, you know, Ireland flags from Ireland, all kinds of you know, patriotic symbolism. Whereas the counter protester movement, it's all dressed in black. There are zero flags. They're all fully masked, and they just, yeah, but they're like a tiny minority, you know, whereas we're hundreds of thousands, they're maybe like a few hundred. And so the contrast is there. And, you know, Trudeau called us the fringe minority, when in reality, you can see for yourself, the counter protests are truly the fringe minority.
Do Canadians feel that the election was kind of weird, that when he ran again, do they feel like something shady was about that?
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
I would say a lot of rational, like independent thinking Canadians can certainly see that. Anyone who kind of turns off the mainstream news can see that. Elections Canada themselves have actually recently announced that there was like hundreds of thousands of votes that they didn't count that they should have. So there's a lot of things that are certainly very shady. I mean, the Trudeau government has spent over $400 billion in the past 2 years. And where did that money go? You know, so there's a lot of, you know, serious questions regarding the ethics, I would say, regarding the current government. For me, the way I like to portray it is that there's two groups of people. There's people that put money ahead of morals, and there's others that put morals ahead of money. And I certainly want to, you know, be part of the group that puts their morals first.
Yeah. Tell me, were you ever involved in politics before this movement at all, or this is?
I grew up in politics. Like my father was a federal politician. He was a member of parliament. So I grew up surrounded in politics, surrounded by mainstream media my whole life, you know, from a very, very young age. So yeah, it certainly has given me a kind of, I don't want to say unique, but definitely far from average vantage point to how the whole machine of politics works. Right. So, you know, this isn't like, so, you know, you talk about conspiracy theories and stuff, but it's more like conspiracy realist, like right. More than anything. And this is from someone who like grew up in it. So it's not just someone who's watching movies on YouTube. It's like, I see how it works.
So you believe that's what's going on, that there is a slow takeover of Canada as well as America and the rest of the world?
I mean, you just have to look at Carl Schwab and the World Economic Forum, how there's an orchestrated effort globally. I mean, you don't have to like come up with a conspiracy theory about it. You see it. You see it in Australia. You see it in pretty much in all the G7 countries. Right. You know, that's where it's, you know, where these mandates are the most strict or pushed the hardest. Right. You know, initially Trudeau was saying, you know, oh, once we get to 75% of people that are, you know, with the jab or whatever you want to call it, right. Well, we can kind of, you know, scale back the restrictions and open up the country again. But now he's saying we're above 90%, and he's still pushing for, like, I don't even think 100% is going to be good enough for this little dictator, you know?
It's just so weird that they want to keep pushing this drug. Like, you can still get it.
Yeah.
Even if you get 3 jabs.
Yeah, absolutely. So like the Prime Minister himself is a walking contradiction, you know, because he's got them all and he's still getting it. And then, but yet he says, oh, you should get it too, even though he's the definition of it not working. And yeah, it's really, really, it's not about health. These restrictions are not about health. They're about control. They're about tracking people. Like every time you scan your QR code, it's not to help keep you healthy. It's to keep a record. Oh, you were there at that time. And you know, it's just going to snowball more and more. So these truckers are angels of freedom. I, you know, bless their hearts. God chosen them to be the group to get us out of this mess. So the way we were going as a country, like Quebec was about to implement what they called a vax tax. So if you didn't get it, they were going to charge you. They were even like, they'd never announced the exact number, but some number they were throwing out there was $1,500 a month. Like, that's insane. And if you didn't pay it, like, what were the penalties going to be? You know, and then and if we didn't push back on this, you know, other provinces, which is what we call in Canada, but, you know, what you call states, we call provinces. Yeah. You know, that would just, you know, expand further. And then what would that lead to? Oh, if you don't pay it, what are you going to do? Be sent to jail now? So it's just, I'm so thankful that we have those truckers here, because now they've rescinded even that proposal. So that's not happening. There's provincial mandates that are being lifted as of Monday, like next week, Monday, in some provinces. So, you know, they're really turning the tides, or the ship that, you know, is really, it's a big ship, this thing, but like, we're seeing change, not only in Canada on provincial levels and, you know, hopefully on a federal level soon, but we're seeing it in other countries as well, you know, but mostly countries that are not part of the G7. But so they're seeing the impact. We're seeing other countries being inspired by these truckers, starting their own, you know, truckers for freedom convoys. And
it's fascinating.
Yeah, it's a moment of history for sure.
It's fascinating that the truckers are the ones that are stepping in. You know, we always hope that our military would do it, or even the cops would try to, you know, join our side. But the truckers of all people, well, because I guess, you know, they're pretty much close to a tank rolling down the street. But Jasper, what else do you do as far as helping out this movement? Do you need support? Are you looking for support to help them as well, like you're doing with Austin? Are you working with Austin?
I mean, I'm in good contact with Austin, and I met him actually just through his lives, and just because I live so close, you know, the first night he slept in his truck, and I'm like, man, you can sleep at my place, or at least come grab a shower or something. So he definitely came over for that. So you know, I met him through that. So I'm there to support him in any way I can. You know, but you know, it's just a lot of people that have driven, you know, across Canada, you know, whether or not they're a trucker, they're here to support the truckers. So Austin is more from the Toronto area.
Right.
You know, myself, I'm, you know, a local. I grew up, you know, I'm born and raised in Ottawa. So, you know, besides that, I am an entrepreneur. I work on a few startup businesses, but that's not related to the trucker convoy. But, you know, that also, you know, keeps me busy for sure.
Right. Okay. All right. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for coming on.
I just want to say one last thing.
Go ahead.
Just to note, you know, you mentioned how the truckers, like, it's interesting how it's that group that's really created this movement and this, you know, it's changed this atmosphere of fear that we've been living in for 2 years into an atmosphere of freedom and optimism and hope. So, you know, I just want to say God bless those truckers, and the importance of truckers, I think, can't be, you know, there's no way to underestimate it, because if you got it, like the mic you have, every equipment you have, the fridge, the food in my fridge, the fridge itself, everything, if you got it, a trucker brought it. So for me, it's, you know, I've never really thought about it. I took them for granted forever. But at this point, like, for me, the trucker community, truckers in general, they have my utmost respect. They are the backbone of every society. Without truckers, you starve, literally. So so for people who are not, like, supporting of the truckers, like it defies logic. Like, throw out all your food, turn off all your electronics, because the truckers brought that to you. Even the phone that you have was brought in on a truck from the ports, you know, off the ocean and whatever. So
Yeah.
So yeah, God bless those truckers. And, you know, above doctors, above lawyers, above politicians, truckers are at the very top of who, you know, deserves our respect.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, brother. Thanks for coming on. We'll
I
talk.
appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, brother. Wow. Interesting.